Good evening, everybody. The best of wishes for Eid also. Today, our agenda is the general ability section of mechanical engineering, production and industrial engineering, and civil engineering 1 and civil engineering 2. So, we will be discussing in total 40 questions. Let us move on and let us start with mechanical engineering. Remember always that there are 10 questions. And in this 10 questions, question number 1 to 5 have 1 mark each. This is the tradition. 1 to 5 have 1 mark each, and 6 to 10 have 2 marks each. This is the tradition of the general ability part of GATE, spans across all streams. So the first 5 questions will have 1 mark each, and the next 5 will have 2 marks each. So that is total 5 marks. Here there is total 10 marks and a total of 15 marks for the general ability section. And ladies and gentlemen, all of you who are there, one of the best ways of approach is to start that GATE paper with this general ability part. And in 10 to 12 minutes, try to take those 15 marks in your pocket. This is the best way of approach. So because of this 15 marks, see your ranking will go around approximately 15 into 1200. That's the approximate average. So you see this valuation is somewhere around 18,000. So your ranking will already be 18,000 above the others who, if they have started with their core topic, might have just been able to do one sum, or the maximum cases none, in the first 10 to 12 minutes. So that is a serious start, a very good start. So that's how general ability should be tackled. Let us move on. The first question. This is a 1 mark question. This belongs to verbal ability. Verbal ability, where you see analogies, that means antonyms, synonyms, etc. These are dealt with. Excuse me. So if arrow denotes increasing order of intensity, then the meaning of the words smile, arrow, giggle, arrow, laugh is analogous to, that means antonyms, synonym, blank, arrow, shied. Now, which of the given options is appropriate to fill in the blanks? Now, disapprove means express a different opinion, express an adverse opinion. That's called disapproval. Okay. So it's the least intense. Now, shied means scolding. The meaning of the word shied is scolding. So that's the most intense one. And in between, let us find out which of the words will fit in. See, grieve means having grief of, lament the loss. I grieved over my father's dead body. So that's it. Reprise. Its meaning is, take action against. Praise. And in no way connected to disapproval and anything. Praise is actually the opposite. Praising is the opposite of disapproval. It's approval actually. Now, reprove. Reprove means criticize in a negative fashion. So where disapproval means expressing a different opinion and chide means downright scolding, reprove is the word which is found to be somewhere in between them, is less in intensity to chide and more in intensity to disapprove. Hence, the correct option will be reprove. Let us move on to the next. Find the odd one out in the set, and in the set the elements are 19, 37, 21, 17, 23, 29, 31, and 11. Now if we notice all these elements, we find that 19 is a prime number, 37 is a prime number, 17 is a prime number, 23 is a prime number, 29 is a prime number, 31 is a prime number, 11 is a prime number. Prime number is a number which is divisible only by 1 or itself, means it has only two factors. But then 21, if you notice, is a number which has more than two factors, and it is hence composite, not a prime number. So 21 is the odd one out amongst the rest, and hence our correct answer is A, 21. This is also a 1 mark question. The first 5 will be 1 mark. This question falls under basic finding the odd one out amongst logical reasoning. Very difficult to pinpoint exactly which grade they fall on, but tentatively that's logical reasoning. Let's move on to the next. In the following series, identify the number that needs to be changed to form the Fibonacci series. Quite naturally, this sum comes from the topic of series and sequences of modern mathematics. This carries 1 mark, and I am sure everybody understands what a Fibonacci series is, very common for any stream of engineering. Say suppose we have started with, say suppose 0 and 3. Then the next number would be 0 plus 3, that is 3. The next number would be 3 plus 3, that is 6. The next number would be 3 plus 6, that is 9, and so on and so forth. So it's the summation of the previous two numbers. That's the Fibonacci series. Now, Fibonacci series here has started with 1 and 1. So obviously the next number would be 1 plus 1 is equal to 2, which is absolutely correct. The next number would be 1 plus 2, which is equal to 3, absolutely correct. The next number would be 2 plus 3 is equal to 5. We notice an anomaly here, but then let us check. Let us assume that this is 5. Then the next number should be 3 plus 5, that is 8, which makes it correct. 8 plus, rather 5 plus 8 is equal to 13, and so on. So the number that needs to be changed to form the correct Fibonacci series is 6. So it would be option number C. Let us move on to the next. The real variables x, y, and z and the real constants p, q, and r satisfy this following relation: x by PQ minus R square is equal to Y by QR minus T square is equal to Z by RP minus Q square. Given that the denominators are non-zero, which it has to be, because if the denominators were zero, then the whole fraction would become undefined. The value of Px plus Qy plus Rz is what? That has been asked for. This is a problem carrying 1 mark. Question number 4. It appears, yes, question number 4. And this comes from the topic, arithmetic topic of ratio proportion. Okay, let us solve it. Now I am sure all of us know the shortcut called addendo. It says that if A by B is equal to C by D is equal to, say, suppose E by F, then we can say by the process of addendo that all of these individually will be equal to A plus C plus E divided by B plus D plus F. So this is a very important thing here. Let us see. But before we go on to do addendo, see, we have been asked to find the value of Px plus Qy plus Rz. Now here in the numerator there is only x, only y and only z. In no other case x and p, y and q and z and r are combined together. So what we do as the first step is very simple and logical. We we say that then Px divided by P into PQ minus R squared. We multiply P on both sides of the first fraction. Must be equal to, we multiply Q on both sides of the second fraction. Qy divided by Q into QR minus P squared. And likewise, we multiply R with both the sides of the third fraction. So that must be Rz divided by Rp minus Q square. Okay. Now our requisite Px, Qy and Rz are obtained. We can say, and let us suppose this whole thing is equivalent to a constant k. Then we can say that k must be equal to these three things, because we have multiplied the same quantity on both sides, so it remains the original. From there we can say, by applying this process of addendo which we just saw, that k is equal to Px plus Qy plus Rz divided by, now you see, if we put P inside the bracket, it becomes P square Q minus PR square. If we put Q inside the bracket, it becomes Q square R minus Q P square. And you see that will also be added. These two will also be added. So will be the third. So if we put R inside the bracket, it becomes R square P minus R Q square. Okay. If we notice carefully that this bottom, see, P square Q, but rather before we do that, let us write this, that K into this denominator. I'm not writing this denominator again because it's a pretty lengthy one. K into denominator must be equal to Px plus Qy plus Rz. Now what is this denominator if we notice carefully? See, there is a p square q and there is a minus p square q. So obviously they cancel each other. See, there is a q square r and there is a minus rq square, which is the same thing. So this is the minus sign. So obviously they will cancel each other. And you see, this is a r square p and this is a minus pr square. Same thing, they cancel each other. Or we can say after this statement that k into 0 is equal to px plus qy plus rz. K into 0 will always be 0. So the value of px plus qy plus rz will be option number A, 0. Good evening to all of you who are there. Good evening, Yogita. Let us move on. This is the fifth sum, is of 1 mark. Let us see what it has for us. Take two long dice, rectangular parallelepiped. Rectangular parallelepiped is something of this sort. It would look somewhat like this. This actually is the original form of dice. Dice. If you have read the Mahabharata or seen the serials, you will see at that point of time, whenever they played games like this, their dice used to be like rectangular parallelepipeds. So this is the original die. Our Ludo dice came later, I presume. So these dice are rectangular parallelepipeds, as they have said. Each having four rectangular faces labeled as 2, 3, 5, and 7. If thrown, the long dice cannot land on the square faces. So I shouldn't have cancelled the diagram. The diagram is important to understand that. See, because of it is a rectangular parallelepiped, it is like this. So the die cannot land on this square face. Okay, it's impossible. So actually, there are four faces which are, being taking part in the game. And say, suppose the four faces are 2, this face is 3, the bottom one is say 5, and the back one is say 7. And has 1/4 probability of landing on any of the four rectangular faces. So it's a fair die, and the probability of landing on any one of the faces is 1/4. The label on the top face of the dice is the score of the throw. So in this example, this is the score of the throw. Here 2 has been thrown because as you see 2 is the topmost face. Now there are 2 dice. If thrown together, what is the probability of getting the sum of the 2 long dice scores greater than 11? two long dice scores means the scores on the top base, the summation is greater than 11. Is greater than 11. That's what they have said. Let us see. In any problem, as you can see, this is a problem of probability, modern mathematics. Now, in any probability, we know that the probability of an occurrence in an event is always the ratio of the favorable outcomes divided by the total possible outcomes. Total possible outcomes. But then we can also think it in this fashion that you see, since the probability of landing on any one of the faces is 1 by 4, so the total possible outcome of the first die is 4 and the second die is also 4, and hence both the die taken simultaneously will follow the rule of multiplication, that is 16 is nothing but the total possible outcomes. Okay, now for the favorable outcome, how can the two top parts of the die show greater than 11? Very simple. The first die can show 5, the second can show 7. Let us not forget that these are the only possibilities of the die. It can also be the reverse. The first die showed 7 and the second showed 5. And then there is also another case. Both the die showed 7. So three possibilities, three favorable outcomes are there. So obviously the favorable outcome is 3. Hence, the probability of getting the sum of the two long dice scores greater than 11 will be nothing but favorable outcome divided by total outcome, which is 3 by 16. So option number D is the correct one. Let us move on. This is question number 6. It will obviously have 2 marks. And as you can see that this is a verbal ability question with its roots in grammar. Okay. So this is testing your grammatical skills, grammatical application skills. Let us see. In the given text, the blanks are numbered from 1 to 4. Select the best match for all the blanks. The first sentence says, Professor P blank 1, merely a man who narrated funny stories. Full stop. The second sentence starts with blank 2. In his blackest moments, he was capable of self-depreciating humor. Now, self-depreciating humor means humor wherein he criticizes or makes fun of himself. Okay. Blackest moments means worse moments. If nothing is going well. Okay. But still, Professor P was capable of, creating humor by, utilizing himself, by criticizing himself or making fun of himself. So here, the most correct fit would be, see, Professor P wasn't merely a man who narrated funny stories. Was merely is not the right application. Professor P wasn't merely a man who narrated funny stories. Even in his blackest moments, he was capable of self-depreciating humor. So it would be Professor P wasn't merely a man who narrated funny stories. Even in his blackest moments, he was capable of self-depreciating humor. Next, Professor Q, blank 3, a man who hardly narrated funny stories. So obviously this would be Professor Q was a man who hardly narrated funny stories. Next sentence. Blank 4. In his blackest moments, was he able to find humor? So only in his blackest moments was he able to find humor because he hardly narrated funny stories. So only in his blackest moments was he able to find humor. So the blanks would be in the order of wasn't, even, was, only. Wasn't, no. So only wasn't are these. Let us find out. Wasn't only. No. Ours is wasn't even, was only. So this is wrong. So wasn't even, was. This is the right option. Option number B is the right option. Let us move. This is the seventh question, carries 2 marks. How many combinations of non-null sets ABC are possible from the subsets of 235? The elements are 235. Satisfying the conditions, number 1, A is a subset of B and B is a subset of A. Okay, let us see. This is from the topic of modern mathematics, set theory, Venn diagram and set theory. How many combinations of non-null sets ABC are possible from the subsets of 235? So see, we know that if a set has n elements, then the number of non then the number of subsets that can be formed would always be 2 to the power n subsets. But any one of these subset has to be a null set. So we can say that the number of non-null subsets for a set with n elements would always be 2 to the power n minus 1. This is the fundamental. Now see here, the set is 2, 3, 5. That is, it has 3 elements. So the number of, let us suppose this is A actually. A is this. Then the number of non-null subsets would be equal to 2 to the power 3 minus 1. That is 7. Number of non-null subsets is 2 to the power 3 minus 1, that is 7. Now, what are the subsets of A? Because B has to be a subset of A. So, the subsets of 2, 3, 5 can be C, 2, 3, 2, 5, 3, 5. Okay. These are the basic, I mean, non-null sets that are possible from this by selecting any two at a time, 3C1. So, what is the number of non-null subset of this? It would be 2 to the power 2 minus 1. Same, this would also be 2 to the power 2 minus 1. And this would also be 2 to the power 2 minus 1. Now, these are the B's. Now, another type of subsets can also be created. See, the subset containing only one element, they can be quite a lot, all these three, right? So, how many subsets does this have? This would have non-null subsets is equal to 2 to the power 1 minus 1, that is 1. How many would this have? Non-null subsets is equal to 2 to the power 1 minus 1, that is 1. And this also would have non-null subsets is equal to 2 to the power 1 minus 1 is equal to 1. So what are the number of combinations of non-null sets possible, where A is a subset of B and B is a subset of C? Achha, I made this in the reverse order. This would be C. This obviously remains B and this is A. Okay, because the initial that I took, it became B is a subset of A and C is a subset of B. It's the reverse. So just change the name. So what are the number of possibilities? See, here there are 7. So you are going to say that the number of combinations, possible would be given by 7 into, take 3 out of the 3. Take 3 elements out of the 3. Taking 3 elements out of the 3 plus, see, this is 3 into, because see, this is 2 to the power 2 minus 1 is equal to 3. This is also 3 is equal to 3. So this is 3 into 3, 3C2. You have taken 3C2, right? I mean, basically this 3C3 is you have selected 3 elements out of all the 3. That's exactly how we did it. This 3C2 is you have selected 2 elements out of the 3. That's how sets B turned up. And this would be, see, 1 has come up. 1 into 3 C1. You have taken any one out of them. Okay. So that would be equal to 7 into 7 into 1, that is 7, plus this would be 3 into 3, that is 9, and this would be 1 into 3, that is 3. So 7 and 9, that is 16. 16 plus 3 is 19. So 19 would be the total possible answers. Uh, ah, there is 19. There is 19. I hope it is understood. Good evening, Sakib. Got your message now. Hope this is understood. Let us move on. This is question number, the last one. was question number 7. Yes, question number 7. So this must be question number 8. Carries 2 marks. As can be very clearly seen, is a data interpretation question based on bar graphs. Let us observe. Uh, Here it is written batting average. The numbers have turned a bit hazy due to magnifying, but then it is 0, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. So a gap of 20. And these are the calendar years 2012 every year till 2022. So 10 years. Okay, let us read. The bar chart gives the batting averages of VK and RS for 11 calendar years from 2012 to 2022, out of which VK is the gray one, RS is the, you know that dotted type one, not dotted exactly, that's squared one. Okay. Considering that 2015 and 2019 are World Cup years. So this is the World Cup year. This is the World Cup year. Which of the following options is true? Let us see. RS has a higher yearly batting average than that of BVK in every World Cup year. I will say this is true in this case. In this case, this is true. But in this case, it is not so. RS doesn't have a higher batting average because this is the batting average graph. So this is a false statement. Next, VK has a higher yearly batting average than that of RS in every World Cup year. As you can see, it is not so here. So clearly it can be understood that this is wrong. Third, VK's yearly batting average is consistently higher than that of RS between the two World Cup years. Between the two World Cup years means these 3 years. So VK is more, VK is more, VK is more. This is the correct sentence. VK's yearly batting average is consistently higher than that of RS between two World Cup years. And just let us check the fourth. Even though in the exam hall, once we have reached this, we would stop there and go on to the next question. But let us do it. RS's yearly batting average is consistently higher than that of VK in the last 3 years. So the last 3 years are this. It is higher, but it is not higher here. So this is a false statement. So option number C is the correct one. Let's move on. This is the ninth question. As you can see, this is regarding paper folding and absolute logical reasoning based questions. Let us see what has been said. This carries 2 marks, by the way. A planar rectangular paper has two V-shaped pieces attached as shown. Okay, so this is the rectangular paper. This whole stuff, let us name it A, B, C, and D. This is the rectangular paper, and I am sure you can understand what is that. What are the two V-shaped structures that are attached? This piece of paper is folded to make the following closed three-dimensional object. Closed means no part is vacant. That is, you cannot see the inside. It's a completely filled up structure. Number of folds required to form the above object would be how much? Okay, we would say that the first fold would be, let us select a different color of ink. We can say that the first fold would be here and here, so as to make the V stand alongside. See, this V you are pressing below, this V also you are pressing below, so that they become parallel to the rectangular strip of paper. Okay, you are pushing it on the inside of the screen. So now what remains is just this rectangle, because these V-shaped ones are now like this. They are now like this attached. Okay, now the second thing that we should be doing is, since there is a folding, see, this AD is this. This is our AD. Now we have to make a fold along, say, PQ. PQ are these 2 points. We must make a fold along that point. This fold must also be there. Mind it, already 1, 2, and now the third fold is being applied. So once PQ will become this one, P, and this one is Q. That is PQ. Folded it down, folded it such that this comes parallel to this. Then there must be another fold. We can approximately say that it would be somewhere here, because this will go this way. So somewhere around here. 2 folds actually, to coincide with this, particular stuff. Actually not this, actually to coincide with this. So that means you have applied fold number 4 and fold number 5. Very difficult to express, but I hope you are understanding. Now we have completed till this part. Now one needs to go to the topmost, till topmost another length. So that would be this. This is fold number 6. But then again another small one, that is fold number 7, to compensate for this. So let us suppose this is MN and this is XY. Then this is M, this is N, this is X, and this is Y. Okay, so that is how it goes on. But then you have to now move along the outer edge. You just now did along the inner edge. Now you'll have to move along the outer edge. So outer edge you have moved till, say, this, let this be alpha, point alpha. So you have moved till alpha. Then let this point be beta. So you will have to compensate for that with a beta. By the way, mx was 6 and 7. I 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 8 and 9 are completed till beta is 9. And then there is no other fold required, I presume, because this comes directly here. So BC will touch at this point. So this is AD. This also becomes B and C. And let us identify here the points. Let us identify them with the help of the points. See, this is MN. So M is this point, N is this point. This is XY. So X is this corner, Y is this corner, the top one, this. Then comes alpha beta. So this is alpha, this is beta. No, sorry, alpha beta. Now I haven't placed anything here. So I've just marked it as alpha. So let it remain just alpha. And beta is this one. So in total, as we can see, 9 folds are required. Let us see whether 9 is an option. Okay, this was a pretty complicated one. Looks very complicated actually. So 9 would be the answer for this question. 9 folds. I hope we have understood. I mean, let us not confuse ourselves with these names. These names actually will confuse us more. But I hope we have understood what we were doing. So forget these names. Let us just concentrate on what we did. I hope you understood. The paper was folded. So 9 folds is the answer. Just check it once, revise it yourself. Let us move on. This, I presume, is the yes, this is the 10th question. 10th question carries 2 marks. 4 equilateral triangles are used to form a regular closed three-dimensional object by joining along the edges. What is the angle between any two faces? First of all, this is a problem of mensuration, geometry mensuration. Now, one must remember that if 4 equilateral triangles are joined, 4 equilateral triangles are joined along their edges, the structure that is formed is known as a tetrahedron. It's very difficult to draw this tetrahedron. Very difficult. It's a very complex one, very difficult to draw by hand. Okay, this tetrahedron has a very typical properties. The angle between any two faces of this tetrahedron, which has been asked, is basically a theoretical question. It always is 60 degrees. Whenever 4 equilateral triangles are joined along their edges, a tetrahedron is formed. A very basic theoretical stuff. And whenever there is a tetrahedron in front of you, always remember that the angle between the faces will always be 60 degrees. So that is basically a theoretical question, and the correct option is option number B. And with that, we end our mechanical engineering portion. We will take a break for 2 minutes and then start again with the production and industrial engineering. Okay, let us start this second part, the general ability portion of production and industrial engineering, PI in short. As already mentioned, here too there will be 10 questions on general ability. The first 5 has 1 mark each, and the next 5s 1 to 5 has 1 mark each, and 6 to 10 has 2 marks each. Total is 15 marks. As I keep on repeating that the best way to start a GATE exam, irrespective of your core stream, is to attempt the general ability portion first, and in the first 10 to 12 minutes, get all the 15 marks. That ensures an 18,000 ranking difference with that of the others who have merely completed one sum, more probable hasn't been able to complete even a single one. Those who start with their core. This is a tremendous confidence booster, and you have a wonderful platform on which to start your GATE. Having said that, let us move on to the questions of 2024. The first one, this is a verbal ability question, carries 1 mark. See once again synonyms and antonyms. It is based on synonyms and antonyms. If arrow denotes increasing order of intensity, then the meaning of the words sick, I'm sure all of you who know what sick is. Infirm. Infirm means, I mean, almost invalid, infirm. Moribund is on the point of passing on to the next world. Okay, so it's extreme form. On the dying bed, moribund is the meaning is that. So I hope you have understood how the intensity has increased. That is analogous to silly. Well, silly means showing lack of common sense. Silly means showing lack of common sense. Arrow, a fill in the blank, which is the second more intense one. And then there is another arrow, and the word is daft. Daft means extremely impractical. Extremely impractical person. So daft is the extreme form of silliness. So which of the words in the options actually would be a medium level one compared to silly and daft? Will be somewhere midway between them. See, frown. Frown is an entirely different word. It means the facial feature that you do when you see something that is displeasing to you. You frown. Your eyebrows wrinkle and so on. So that's called frowning. Fawn. Fawn means there are two things. Fawn has a double meaning. The noun form means a baby deer, a type of a deer actually, a baby sort of babyish deer, fawn. And the verbal meaning is fawning over somebody means showing insincere, being very insincere, but showing flattery. Insincere flattery is fawning. Next is vein. Vein, blood vessel, artery, vein. Vein carries deoxygenated blood, and so on and so forth. That. And the fourth one is vain. Vain means have impractical, but have not correct thoughts or idea about oneself. Vain is not exactly proud, though we often sometimes mix the two. Pride and vain is different. Vanity and pride are subtly different. Vain means having a impractical, obviously on the higher side, more IA. I mean, you have the capability of getting 50 marks in an exam. You are vain if you think that you have the capability of getting 90. So that's it, having a on the higher side. Okay, so see, of all these four words, vain comes nearly to this, because all silly, daft, and vain is based on impracticality, and vain is also having an impractical thought about oneself. It's more than silly, but obviously is less in intensity than that of daft. So vain will be the correct answer. Let us move on. This is the second question, 1 mark question, and it is sort of a puzzle. The 15 parts of the given figure. So the 15 parts of the given figure is this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. See, these are the 15 parts of the given figure, are to be painted such that no two adjacent parts with shared boundaries, but excluding the corners. For example, one cannot say that this and this are shared, because they are only connected by the corners. If you notice, they are only connected by the corners. So that is not possible. Okay. So the question is, just hold on a second. So the question is, no two adjacent parts with shared boundaries, excluding the corners, have the same color. So they cannot have the same color. The minimum number of colors required is how much? Well, it is relatively very simple. See, the colors has to be more than 4. So minimum, so the answer would be 4. See, it can't be 3, because say suppose the 3 colors are, say, A, B, C. So however way you apply them, at one point or the other, two of the colors will have to have a common boundary. Let us give it a try. Say suppose I apply ABC here. Now a person thought and said, okay, then apply B here. Say suppose A here. So avoid it, and C here. Perfectly avoided. Then they said, okay, apply A here and B here. See, A and they're not having very good. Now the question is, now what are you going to put here? So people said, okay, let us put C here. So fantastic. We are putting C there. Now ABC will come in. You have to put in here, say, let us suppose we put A, we put B. Well, let us suppose we put A here, we put C here. So this also is all right. But now what will you do here? See, whichever color you put here, they will have a common boundary with any one of them. I hope we understand. Well, we could have put this B. There is no common boundary. We are saved. We can put this. Now, what will you put this? You have to put it either A or C. C you can't put because here is C. A you can't put because there is A. So it got stuck. So with 3 colors, it is not possible. But with 4 colors, it will obviously be possible. 4 and more. More colors, the more colors you choose, the better way it will be possible. But they have asked you to the minimum number of colors. So the answer has to be 4. So with 4 colors, they will never coincide. So that's the basic thing of this whole stuff. So the answer would be 4 colors. I hope we have understood this, why it was not possible with 3. So that is the main thing. Okay. Let us go to the next. This is the third sum, carries 1 mark. How many 4-digit positive integers divisible by 3 can be found using only the digits of this set having 5 elements, which are 1, 3, 4, 6, and 7, such that no digit appears more than once in a number? This is from modern mathematics, from the topic of numbers and number systems. So let us see. What is the divisibility rule for 3? How can you say just by seeing a number that it will be divisible by 3? The rule is simple. If the summation of the digits of the number, if divided by 3, gives you a remainder of 0, means it's perfectly divisible by 3, then you can say that the number is a multiple of 3. Okay, so that's the divisibility rule of 3. I hope most of us know it. Now, the 5 numbers that we have is 1, 3, 4, 6, and 7. Now, from here, how many 4-digit numbers can be created? See, to create 4-digit numbers, we must select 4 digits. So in how many ways can you select 4 digits out of 5 digits? The answer is 5C4, that is 5 ways. But then, are all the ways the summation of the digits giving us a multiple of 3? Let us check. Okay, let us check the first way. See the 5 ways, 1, 3, 4, 6 is one way. Then the second way, 1, 3, 4, 7. Okay, so then the next way is 1, 3, 6, 7. Then the next way is 1, 4, 6, 7. And the last way is 3, 4, 6, 7. This is the 5 ways by which we can choose 5 digits from the above, 4 digits from the above 5. So, are all these summation of all these digits divisible by 3? Let us check. 1, 3, 4, 6. The summation is 4 plus 4, 8, and 6, 14. Not divisible by 3. So this choice is not needed by us. Now let us take this. 1, 3, 6, 7. 1 plus 3, 4 plus 6, 10. 10 plus 7, 17 is not divisible by 3. Not needed by us. Let us check this. 1 plus 3, 4. 4 plus 4, 8. 8 plus 7, 15. 15 is divisible by 3. So this will be needed. Let us check the next. 1, 4, 6, 7. 1 plus 4, 5 plus 6, 11. 11 plus 7 is 18. 18 is divisible by 3. So this will be needed. Let us check the last. 3 plus 4, 7 plus 6, 13 plus 7, 20. 20 is not divisible by 3. So this choice won't be needed. So we find that these are the only two selection of digits that will make whatever number, whatever four-digit number we manufacture from them a multiple of 3. So how many four-digit numbers can you manufacture from this combination? Obviously, the number of ways we can arrange this 4, that is factorial 4 ways. And in how many ways can we do this? Once again, the number of ways in which we can arrange these digits, that will also be factorial 4 ways. So factorial 4 numbers can be formed. Here also factorial 4 numbers can be formed. And all the numbers, since the summation of the digits will be a multiple of 3, will be divisible by 3. So the total number possible is factorial 4 plus factorial 4, that is equal to 24 plus 24, that is equal to 48, which is our correct answer. Let us move on. This, I presume, is sum number 4. Yes, it is sum number 4. So this carries 1 mark. And clearly we can see that this is a modern mathematics topic coming from the topic of series and sequences. So they have asked us the progression series and sequences. They have asked us the sum of the following infinite series is how much? And the sum is 2 plus half plus 1 by 3 plus 1 by 4 plus 1 by 8 plus 1 by 9 plus 1 by 16 plus 1 by 27 plus, and it's a dot 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 scenario. That means this goes on till infinity. So how do we do this? We divide this immediately on observing it. We can say that let us divide this into 3 parts. In one part, let the number 2 remain. In the second part, let us take half, 1/4, 1/8, 1/16, and so on till infinity. And in the third part, let us take the remaining, that is 1/3 plus 1/9 plus 1 by 27 plus like this till infinity. Now immediately we can see that in this case, this is a common ratio. This is a GP series, infinite GP series, having a first term of half and a common ratio of half. Correct? So an infinite GP series having a common ratio that is less than 1 but greater than 0 and is infinite. The summation is given by the first term divided by 1 minus the common ratio, that is equal to half divided by half, that is equal to 1. So this summation is equal to 1. Now let us look at the second one. This also is an infinite GP series having the first term as 1 by 3 and common ratio, see, is equal to 1 by 3. Right? So we know that for this, the summation till infinity, 1 by 3 common ratios. So I hope you understand this also. R is less than 1 and is greater than 0 and is an infinite GP series. So the summation will be first term divided by 1 minus common ratio, that is 1 by 3 by 2 by 3, that is equal to half. So basically the result of this series is 2 plus 1 plus half, that is equal to, see, 3 plus half, that is 3 and a half, that is 7 by 2. So this is the option that is the correct one. I hope we got it. Let us move on. This is question number 5, has 1 mark, and as we can see it just by the appearance, is a pie chart based data interpretation question. Let us see. In an election, the share of valid votes received by the 4 candidates A, B, C, and D is represented by the pie chart as shown. A is 40%, B is 25%, C is 20%, and D is 15%. The total number of votes cast in the election were 1,15,000, out of which 5,000 were invalid. And this pie chart is about the share of valid votes only. So based on the data provided, the total number of valid votes received by the candidates B and C is, B and C together, means they have asked for this and this together, is how much? So first we will say the number of valid votes is 115 minus 5, that is equal to 110. This is the number of valid votes, and B got 25% of the valid votes and C got 20% of the valid votes, because this pie chart is based on share of valid votes, and we have been asked the value of votes together. So we will say B plus C together would be 25 plus 20, that is 45% of valid votes. So therefore 45 by 100 into 1 and 4 zeros after that is our correct answer. So 11 fives are 55, 11 fours are 44 plus 5 and 2 zeros. This is the total number of valid votes received by candidates B and C. So option number B is the answer. Let us move on. This is question number 6, so has 2 marks. As one can see that this is from verbal ability, and this is a topic from critical reasoning. Verbal ability, critical reasoning. Thousands of years ago, some people began dairy farming. This coincided with a number of mutations in a particular gene that resulted in these people developing the ability to digest dairy milk. Based on the given passage, which of the following can be inferred? Inferred means concluded. Number A. All human beings can digest dairy milk. Now we will say that this uh, might not be true, because number of mutations in a particular gene took place, as a result of which the people developed the ability to digest dairy milk. It might happen that for some the mutation didn't take place. It also might have happened that that particular gene was not present in some. So we can't say that this is absolutely conclusive. No human being can digest dairy milk. This is blatantly false, because it has clearly been said that for those people who underwent a mutation having a particular gene, those people develop the ability to digest dairy milk. So this is absolutely false. Number C, digestion of dairy milk is essential for human beings. Now, nowhere in the passage has it been said so, and we cannot form judgments on our own in critical reasoning. In critical reasoning, we cannot, whatever is written in the passage is our Bible. Beyond that, we cannot go. Nowhere is it said that digestion of dairy milk is essential for human beings. So this is also not the right one. So by default, number D must be the right. Let us see. In human beings, digestion of dairy milk resulted from a mutated gene. Now that is exactly what has been said. One can clearly see that this sentence is an exact replica with these two lines. Okay, so we will say option number D is the right option. Option number D can be concluded from the above passage. Let us move on to the next. This is question number 7, carrying 2 marks, and one can clearly see that this is a question coming from the modern mathematics topic of probability. The probability of a boy or a girl being born is half. For a family having only 3 children, what is the probability of having 2 girls and 1 boy? Now, probability that a boy is born is half, and probability that a girl is born is half, as has been said in the passage. Okay. Now a family has only 3 children. So out of those 3 children, 2 are girls and 1 is a boy. the first question will arise: who, which two out of those three children are girls? That query can be solved in the number of ways we can select two items out of an option of three items. So the number of ways we can select two children from an option of three children, that number of ways two girls can be possible. Now the probability of each child being a girl child is half, and there are two such girl children, so half into half. Similarly, one is a boy, but since you have already chosen the girl, so the boys are the leftovers. So naturally, you don't need to further choose a boy. So simply there is one boy and the boy's probability is also half. So the answer would be this. Let us see what this is. 3C2 is 3. 3 into 1 by 4 into half. That is equal to 3 by 8. This is the probability of a family having only three children, having two girls and one boy. By the way, the option is option number E. Okay, let us move. This is question number 8, carries 2 marks, and we can see that this is a question on percentage, arithmetic based. Let us check the question. Person 1 and person 2 invest in 3 mutual funds A, B, and C. The amounts they invest in each of these mutual funds are given in the table. As you can see, person 1 invests 10,000, 20,000, and 20,000 in A, B, and C respectively, whereas person 2 invests 20,000, 15,000, and 15,000 in ABC respectively. At the end of 1 year, the total amount that person 1 gets is rupees 500 more than person 2. The annual rate of return for the mutual funds B and C is 15% each. What is the annual rate of return for the mutual fund A? Let us do it. First, you see B and C's return percentage is mentioned. It is 15%. So person A, how much was invested in B and C? It was 40,000 rupees. Person 2, how much was invested in B and C? It was 30,000 rupees. It has been said that person 1 gets 500 rupees more return than person 2. So what is their difference? Their difference is 10,000. Okay. So 15% on 10,000 must be the difference in return of B and C only. 15% on 10,000 is equal to rupees 1500. So 1500 must be the difference in return of B and C. And who got more? Person 1 minus person 2 is equal to rupees 1500 only for B and C only. Now let us look at mutual fund A. Person 1 has given 10,000, invested 10,000. Person 2 has invested more here. Okay, so what is the difference? So the difference is 10,000 rupees. Let return be X%. Therefore, person 2 minus person 1 only in terms of A must be equal to X by 100 into 10,000, that is equal to 100x. Okay, now you see person 1 gets 500 more than person 2. That is the final scenario. So I will say 1500, which is how much person 1 got more than person 2 in B and C only, minus 100x, which is how much person 2 got more than 1 in A only, must be the value for all the three together. So that must be equal to rupees 500. So 100x is equal to 1000. My apologies. 100x is equal to 1000, or x equal to 10%, which is our answer. 10% is our answer, which is option number B. I hope we have understood it. Let us move on. Three different views of a dice are shown in the figure below. It's clearly visible. The piece of paper from the options that can be folded to make this dice is which one? Now, on observing these dice, we can find that 4 has 5 and 1 below on two edges and two faces below it, and 6 and 3 on two faces below it. So if we draw this dice like this, we can say that if this is 4, then this is 6 and 3, and then see 5 and 1 must be these two. I hope we understand that. Now it could also have been 1 here and 5 here. How do we know that? Very simply, that see 5 is adjacent to 6. Had 5 been here, 5 would see 5 is adjacent to 6. Had 5 been here, then 5 would have been opposite to 6. So we clearly know that this is the 5, this 5 is not so. Hence, this portion cancels, this portion cancels. And hence the only number left is 2 is here. So this is the scenario of the die. Now if you look at all the papers, see, let us look at option 1. See, 4 is at the center. Let us suppose keep it at the top. Then 1 will come beside it if I fold it like this. And then after folding it, if I fold this like this, 5 will come here. See, 6 will come up here. And 3 will come up here. And below will be 2. So I will say this is the one that tallies with this. Hence, this is the paper that can be folded to create this die. So the answer is answer number A. Option number A. So this sum is a 2-mark sum and it comes from pretty puzzles, observation-based puzzles, logical reasoning part. Let us move on. This is the last question. Question number 10 carries 2 marks and is a question from mensuration. Visualize 2 identical right circular cones. A right circular cone is a cone like this, whose perpendicular is, whose line joining the midpoint is perpendicular. Right circular cones is sort of isosceles if you bisect it. Take a cross section of it, sectional cross section. The 2 identical right circular cones such that one is inverted over the other and they share a common circular base. So they share a common circular base. Okay, so there is another one. If the cutting plane passes through the vertices of the assembled cones, what shape does the outer boundary of the resulting cross section make? Very simple. It is as if one isosceles triangle on top of another. Okay, and they are identical circular cones, so the lengths of this and these are all equal. So as you can see, this becomes a rhombus. So the answer would be a rhombus. This is a very simple one. Not much rocket science required. With that, we end the PI portion. We will now take a 2-minute break. And after that break, we will assemble with the civil engineering 1 and 2 sections. Let us take that. Okay, let us start the civil engineering portion. Once again, general marks each. Total, there will be 15 marks. And the most prudent way to start your GATE exam is within the first 10 to 12 minutes to complete all those 15 marks correctly. 15 marks would ensure you a rank elevation of around 18,000 in after rather first 12 minutes, which is a great way to start an exam, because most of the ones who start with the core questions generally are able to finish max to max one question. So obviously the difference is prolific. Okay, so let us go ahead. The first question is a 1 mark question, verbal ability, and as is true in 2024 gate, almost all the streams have starting with a synonym or an antonym type verbal ability question. So if arrow denotes increasing order of intensity, then the meaning of the words simmer, seethe, and smolder is analogous to break, raise, and blank. See, simmer means no flames, just the glow of flames. That is called simmering. Seethe means small wisps of flames coming up, nothing great. So it's better than simmer, higher yield. And smolder is a lot of heat and flames coming up. Okay, so simmer, seethe, and smolder are these. So you have understood the analogy and the intensity order. Now break means to break into pieces, means separate into pieces. Raise means uh, destroy. The building was razed to the ground, so the building was destroyed. So you see, breaking is separating into pieces, raised means destroyed. Now let us observe amongst the options which one can be the even more intense form of destruction. Obfuscate. Obfuscate means hide, sort of uh, hiding under a cover, put under cover, obfuscate. Fracture. I hope you understand fracturing a bone, breaking into two pieces. Fissure means hole or crack. The volcanic lava was oozing out through the fissures in the earth. But obliterate means wiping out completely, completely wiping it out. So break, raise, and then obliterate is the appropriate one, maintaining the proper intensity to fit the blank. Let us move on to the next. This is the second sum, carries 1 mark, and as one can understand is a general logical reasoning type question. Slightly, I mean, slightly influenced by numbers, which is a logical reason, which is a modern mathematics topic. In a locality, the houses are numbered in the following way. The house numbers on one side of the road are consecutive odd integers starting from 301. Let us suppose this is the road. See, this is the road. So on one side of the road, the house numbers are 301, consecutive odd integers. So 303, 305, 307, and so on. While the house numbers on the other side of the road are consecutive even numbers starting from 302, 302, 304, 306, 308, and so on. The total number of houses is the same on both sides of the road. So the number of houses, if here is x, then here also is x. They are same on both sides of the road. If the difference of the sum of the house numbers between the two sides of the road is 27. So all these numbers summation and all these numbers summation, the difference is 27. Then the number of houses on each side of the road is how much? See, if you notice carefully, what is the difference between 301 and 302? The difference is 1. What is the difference between 303 and 304? The difference is 1. 305 and 306. The difference is 1. 307, 308. The difference is 1. And likewise. So if you add, see, summing them up and finding the difference is equivalent to finding individual differences and summing them up. So that value is 27. So I will say, see, the difference of each one of them is only 1. So 27 by 1, that is 27 buildings must be on each side of the road. So the answer would be 27. Let us move on. This is question number 3, carries 1 mark and is from the topic modern mathematics topic of indices. For positive integers p and q with p by q not equal to 1, which basically implies that p is not equal to q. The implication of this is that p is not equal to q. They have said that p by q to the power of p by q is equal to p to the power of p by q minus 1. So from this, we will have to find out which one of the options is the correct one. So let us check. We know that if somebody says a by b whole to the power x, then that means a to the power x by b to the power x. We know that. Also, we know that if somebody says a to the power x minus y, then that means a to the power x divided by a to the power y. I hope we know these two rules of indices pretty well. So by dint of that, we can say that the left hand side is p to the power of p by q divided by q to the power of p by q. We applied this one. And the right hand side is p to the power of p by q divided by p. Okay, I hope you understood. Now Here we used this one. Now, P cannot be equal to 0 because had P been equal to 0, my apologies, no, not P. We cannot say that about P. Yes, by the way, yes, I made a mistake. I made a small mistake. I got slightly distracted actually. So yes, we can say P is not equal to 0 simply because of the fact that had P been equal to 0, then this divided by P would have been undefined. But it is not so because P to the power P by Q minus 1 is a very much defined one given by the examiner himself. So because P is not equal to 0, so P to the power something and P to the power the same thing, they can cancel out. Okay. So from here I can say that Q to the power P by Q must be equal to P. Now taking the qth power of all of them. So Q to the power P by Q whole to the power Q must be equal to P to the power Q. But we also know that a to the power x whole to the power y is equal to a to the power xy. We know that in indices. So here q and q will multiply together and get cancelled off. And the net result that will be left is, for the lack of space I'm writing on top, q to the power p is equal to p to the power q. Let us check which says that. And as you can see that the first option says that. So the first option is the correct one. Let us move on. This is question number 4, carries 1 mark and is from the topic of sequence and series. Okay. Which one of the given options is a possible value of x in the following sequence? 3, 7, 15, then x, 63, 127, 255. So this is simple. See, 3 into 2 plus 1 gives us 7. 7 into 2 plus 1 gives us 15. 15 into 2 plus 1 gives us 31. But we should check 31 into 2 plus 1. 31 into 2 is 62 plus 1 is 63. So by now we are convinced that we are on the right track. Just check one more. 63 into 2 is 126 plus 1 is 127. We need not check anymore. So we would say instead of x, the figure that should come is 31, option D. Let us move on. This is the 5th question, carries 1 mark On a given day, how many times will the second hand and the minute hand of a clock cross each other during the clock time of 5 minutes past 12 hours to 55 minutes past 12 hours? Apparently, this sum looked like a serious clock problem utilizing concepts of time, speed, and distance. But after reading it, that is the reason why instead of commenting from which background this sum is given from, I read the sum. After reading it, if you know your shortcuts and your concept is clear, this becomes a very simple logical reasoning question. So I would rather say that this sum is from the background of very simple logical reasoning. Let us see what has been said. See, the time is 12:05. Now imagine at 12:05, what is the scenario? At 12:05, the big hand is at, this is 12, this is 1. So the big hand is at 1. The small hand is just a little bit from 12. So I'm not drawing the small hand because here the second hand and the minute hand is coming into play. So this is the minute hand. And where is the second hand? It is exactly at 12. This is the second hand. Okay. So this is exactly 12:05.00, the position of the second hand and the minute hand. Sorry, second hand and the minute hand. Okay. Now, till how much do you have to calculate? 12:55. At 12:55 sharp, where is the minute hand? See, the minute hand is exactly here, right? At 11. I hope you understand. This is 12. And where is the second hand? It still is at 12, right? This is the second hand and this is the minute hand, right? This is the scenario at 12:55.00. See, these two pictures should immediately come to your mind, and I am sure they are not very difficult to fathom. Okay, now notice that for every minute that passes, the minute hand will move from 1 to just here, and this second hand will move 1 round. So it will cross the minute hand. When the minute hand is here, the second hand is still here. Then once it goes here, it again will cross the minute hand. So I can say that every minute, the second hand crosses the minute hand once. I can say this. Now, how many minutes are there between 5 minutes to 12 and 55 minutes to 12? Obviously, 50 minutes. So I will say that the second hand crosses the minute hand 50 times in this 50 minutes total. Because look at the last one. It was just 1 minute ago, 54. And when it comes here, the second hand comes like this and crosses it once again and then again reaches here. So it crosses the last time there. So the answer would be number C, 50. I hope you understood this. Let us move on. This is question number 6, carries 2 marks, is a verbal ability question, and is grammar based. Let us look at this. In the given text, the blanks are numbered 1 to 4. Select the best match for all the blanks. From the ancient Athenian arena to the modern Olympic stadiums, athletics dash the potential for a spectacle. The crowd dash with bated breath as the Olympian artist twists his body, stretching the javelin behind him. Next paragraph. 12 strides in, he begins to cross step. 6 cross steps dash in an abrupt stop on his left foot. As his body dash like a door turning on a hinge, the javelin is launched skyward at a precise angle. We have to fill in the blanks with the proper choices. C. From the ancient Athenian arena to the modern Olympic stadiums, athletics hold. It is holds the potential for a spectacle. Athletics is singular. There is nothing called athletic. Athletics is singular, so holds the potential for a spectacle. The crowd waits with bated breath. Waits with bated breath as the Olympian artist twists his body, stretching the javelin behind him. 12 strides in, he begins to cross steps. 6 cross steps conclude means culminate in an abrupt stop on his left foot. As his body pivots, pivots means move around a fulcrum, like a door turning on a hinge. The javelin is launched skyward at a precise angle. So let us see which option has this. So it is, no, sorry, holds, waits, culminate, pivots. Holds, waits, culminate, pivots. Hold, no, holds. Waits, no, this should be waits. Holds, waits. Acha, holds, waits. Culminate, pivots. So option number D is the correct one. Hope we have understood it. Let us move on. Should be question number. This is question number 7. Question number 7 carries 2 marks. This is from permutation and combination. 3 distinct sets of indistinguishable twins So we have to assume that we cannot understand who is whom amongst the twins. They cannot be distinguished. Are to be seated at a circular table that has 8 identical chairs. Unique sitting arrangements are defined by the relative positions of the people. How many unique sitting arrangements are possible such that each person is sitting next to their twin? So it is mandatory that every person should be sitting next to their twin. So let us suppose we have three sets of twins, AA, BB, and CC. Now these are 6 people and so can occupy only 6 chairs. So let us suppose the concept is, since the criteria is that each person is sitting next to their twin, so we say that they should be together, they should be together, and they should be together. Nobody and nothing should come in between them, not even a vacant chair. Because then and then only the person would be sitting next to their twin, right? If a chair comes in between, the person won't be sitting next to their twin, right? They would be sitting one place away from their twin. So these are 3 entities. So 3 entities. I tell these 3 entities to stand around this round table. Mark my words, to stand around the round table. They can do so in factorial 3 minus 2 ways, or rather, to write it in the present form, factorial 3 minus 2 ways. Okay, that is equal to, sorry, why factorial 3 minus 2? My apologies. It would be factorial 3 minus 1 ways. That was a silly mistake. Factorial 3 minus 1 ways. So that would be how many? Now factorial 2, that is 2 ways. Okay. Now let us suppose they are standing like this. Suppose this is one way in which they are standing. See, they are together. Now I tell them, select any 6 chairs out of the 8. Out of the 8 chairs. The chairs are all identical. So the selection can be done in one way and sit on them. So I have ensured that all these 6 people have got seated. So now 2 chairs are left. I must insert these 2 chairs also, but I can't insert in between them because the twins must be together. So this is not possible. So how many vacancies can be obtained? See, 1 vacancy, 2 vacancy, and the 3rd vacancy. So in these 3 vacancies, I must insert the 2 chairs. How can I do so? Well, I can take both the chairs and put it in 1 vacancy, or this one, or this one. So that can be achieved in, out of the 3 vacancies, select any 1 vacancy and put the chairs in. Or else I could select any 2 vacancies and put 1 chair each in between them, right? That can be done in, out of the 3 vacancies, select any 2 and put 1 chair each in between them. These are 2 different ways of putting chairs. These are not simultaneous activities. Either you can do this or you can do that. So it will be addition. So the number of ways you can put chairs is 3 plus 3, that is 6 ways. So the total number of ways such that each person is sitting next to their twin around that round table with 8 chairs would be this 2 ways multiplied by this 6 ways. 2 into 6, that is 12 ways. So the answer would be 12 ways, option A. I hope we understood this. Let us move on to the next question. This is question number 8. As can be seen, this is a data interpretation question coming from bar charts and carries 2 marks. The chart given below compares the installed capacity in megawatts of 4 power generation technologies T1, T2, T3, T4. Okay, so I presume this is T1, T2, T3, T4. So this is the installed capacity in megawatts. So this is the installed capacity. And their electricity generation megawatt hour in a time of 1000 hours. So this must be megawatt hour. This can't be read properly, but as far as I can make out, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, I presume it is like that. Too small. Now the installed capacity is given by the bar graph. And the electricity generation is given by these crosses. See these crosses out here. Okay. The capacity factor of a power generation technology is electricity generation in megawatt hour divided by installed capacity. So electricity generation is given by those crosses and the installed capacity is given by the bar charts. This is given by the crosses and this is given by the bars. The reason I'm writing them down is because technical reasons, they're slightly they're hazy, can't be read properly. I'm sure you are having a problem in reading the data exactly. Which one of the given technologies has the highest capacity factor? That means the value of the cross divided by the value of the bar. They must be the maximum. So here, I don't think we need to calculate at all. Because whatever may be the rate of increase, whatever may be the dimension of the gaps, this is increasing in this direction, this is also increasing in this direction. So the maximum will be provided by the numerator has maximum, and the denominator that has the minimum. That will give the maximum. Now, denominator minimum, this is number 1, this is number 2. But this maximum, this is not so, but this is the maximum. So I will say that it should be in T1 just by observation, that the maximum capacity, highest capacity factor in technology T1, the highest capacity factor is obtained. The answer should be T1 just by observation. Speed is of the essence, so we should apply our shortcutting techniques wherever they can be applied. Hope this is done. Let us move on. This is question number 9, carries 2 marks and is an entirely logical reasoning puzzle. In the 4 into 4 array shown below, each cell of the first 3 columns has either a cross or a number as per the given rule below. The rule is given below. The number in a cell represents the count of crosses around its immediate neighboring cells. For example, let us draw a bigger one that's very small. See, why is this one? Because in this cell, who are the neighboring ones? This, and this. See, only one cross is there. So why is this 2? See, the neighboring cells of this is this, and this. See, 2 crosses are there. This is 2. Why? See the neighboring cells within this, 2 crosses are there. Why is this 1? See, these are the neighboring boundary, only 1 cross is there. Why is this 2? I don't know, because this side is not there. So we will have to find that out. As per this rule, the maximum number of crosses possible in the empty column is how much? Now, this has 2 crosses. Now, this neighboring thing would be this one. So, at least 1 cross must be here. Now, this has 3. The neighbor of this is this whole thing, out of which 2 crosses are already there. So, we know for sure that out of these 3, there must be only 1 cross. Only 1 cross must exist in these 3. Can be here, can be here. Question is whether it can be here. Let us see. Why is this 4? Because out of these, there are 3 already existing. Out of these, only 1 cross can be there. Right? So I will say the crosses then definitely can be these. Now let us see what will happen here. Now for this cell, this is the neighboring, so this will become 1. For this cell, this is the neighboring, so this will become 2. And you see, maximum 2 crosses can happen. Possibly in the empty column is 2. So maximum 2 crosses are possible. Hope we understood. Let us go to the next one. This is the last question of Civil Engineering 1. Carries 2 marks. Clearly, by dint of this angle, can be seen that it's a problem based on trigonometry. During the half moon phase, the Earth, Moon, Sun form a right angle. Let us suppose this is the Sun, this is the Moon, and this is the Earth. So they are forming a right angle. If the Moon, Earth, Sun angle, Moon, Earth, Sun, Moon, Earth, Sun, so this angle, the right angle is here. Because obviously Moon and Earth can't be at right angles to the Sun. This is measured to be 89.85 degree. The ratio of the Earth Sun, that means this, and Earth Moon, that means this. So they want us to find the ratio of these two. So we will say they want us to find out x by y. But we can say that cos of 89.85 degree would be equal to y by x. Now we can, in the scientific calculator, it is pretty simple to find out what is cos 8.95. As far as my memory tells me, it will be 0.0026, something like that. 0.0026. 0.0027. Hey, 0.0026. Let us see whether I'm right or wrong. 0.0026. In the exam, you will have a scientific calculator. You can immediately click and find it out. I don't happen to have a scientific calculator by my side right now. So this is y by x. So what will be x by y? Now 1 by 0.0026. Now what is 100 by 26? 100 by 25 is 4. 100 by 26 would be 3.9 to 3.8, somewhere in between them. So 0.0026 would be 0.0026 would be somewhere between that. It will be this decimal place will go 2 places. So it should be somewhere between 380 to 390. Check whichever options are there. This is the only option. Option B is the correct answer, 382. And I'm sure those of you who are watching this, while watching this, can definitely open the scientific calculators and check out. This I am sure is correct. There will be some other digits, I don't remember them. That will give you a more accurate picture. And then just with the calculator, find the reciprocal and you will get the correct answer. But 1.0025 would have given somewhere around 400. So 0.0026 would be giving you somewhere, less than that. So 382. That would be the correct answer. Okay. And with that, we end this paper. Let us take a 2-minute break. Let us take a 2-minute break. And after that break, we will start with Civil Engineering Paper 2. Okay, let us continue. I was not aware of the timing, so if we take a break, we will be delayed. Let us go ahead. So, this is Civil Engineering Paper 2. Again, it contains general ability 10 questions. 1 to 5 will have 1 mark each. 6 to 10 will have 2 marks each. That is the tradition. Total is 15 marks. The way to give gate, the ideal way to give gate is after starting the exam, within the first 10 to 12 minutes to complete all the general ability part correctly and to have 15 marks in your pocket. That will give you an advantage of almost 18,000 ranks above the others who haven't started with general ability, has started with either the common mathematics or with their core questions. Because in the first 10 to 12 minutes, it is generally the perception that most of the students will be able to do 0 or 1 question of them. So I hope you understand, you will immediately go at a distinct advantage. So that is great for you while giving an example. Let us move on. First, if arrow denotes, just hold on a second, just hold on a second, 1 second, please. If arrow denotes increasing order of intensity, then the meaning of the words drizzle, arrow, rain, arrow, downpour is analogous to blank, arrow, quarrel, arrow, feud. Which one of the given options is appropriate to fill the blank? This is a 1 mark question, verbal ability, and once again based on synonyms or antonyms. In this case, it is synonyms. So, drizzle means light rain, very light rain. Rain, I'm sure everybody of us know what rain is. Downpour means very heavy rain. So I hope you understand the intensity. Now it is analogous to the second most intense is quarrel. We already know what a quarrel is. Not a very serious argument, but an argument nonetheless. And the most intense one is a feud. A feud is a very serious type of and bitter quarrel and pretty prolonged. Feud is a prolonged, serious, and a bitter quarrel. So, what can be the most less intense form of it? Let us see. See, bog. Bog means, I mean, his feet got bogged down in the mud. So, what happens when your feet goes inside the mud? Very difficult to express, but I hope you understand. That's called bogging in. Your mind also gets bogged by boredom. So, dither. Dither means, what shall I say? Sort of. Dither means, how shall I express it? Uh, it is a way of, you know, taking revenge, sort of stuff, a sort of vengeance. Dither. You know the meaning of dodge. Football dodges. Okay, dodged his adversary. But bicker means very petty arguments. Bickering means petty arguments. Your colleague has placed your hand on the desk. You said, no, put your hand off the desk. So that's bickering, sort of. So the correct option should be bicker. Synonyms are very important in GATE. Next, this is the second question, has 1 mark, is a logical reasoning topic from syllogisms. Syllogisms use Venn diagrams. So basically it's from Venn diagrams. So see, there are two statements. All heroes are winners. So if this is a hero, all heroes are winners. Okay. The next statement said, all winners are lucky people. So if this is a winner, all winners are lucky. Okay. These are the two statements. Now, on punching these two statements, I hope you understand that lucky would be somewhere here. Now, what are the conclusions? Let us see. All lucky people are heroes. No, that's false. Because see, these areas, they are not heroes. Only this portion is a hero. So this is not true. Some lucky people are heroes. Very true. Some lucky people are heroes. So this is absolutely true. Some winners are heroes. Very true. See, these are the whole year of winners. Some of the winners are heroes. So this is also true. So I will say that only inference number 2 and 3 are can be logically deduced. Which of the above inferences can be logically deduced from the statements? Only 2 and 3. Option number B. Let us move on to the next. This is the third question, and clearly this is a question from arithmetic. Percentage carries 1 mark since it's the third question. A student was supposed to multiply a positive real number p with that of another positive real number q. Instead, the student divided p by q. If the percentage error in the student's answer is 80%, the value of q is what? So the student was supposed to multiply p and q, but instead of that, he did p by q. So the percentage error in the student's answer is 80%. Percentage error means the difference between these two divided by the original, that is p by q. This is the right answer. Into 100 must be 80. So basically I can say that 100 pq minus 100 p by q is equal to 80 pq. Cross multiplying and multiplying 100, opening the bracket. So this side and that side, if you move on, it is 20 pq is equal to 100 p by q. So 20 and 100 cancels by 5. P is not equal to 0, because if p is multiplied, p is 0, then the whole sum is irrelevant, because this is 0, this is 0. How can there be an error? So p is not 0, so p can get cancelled. So basically what happens is q squared is equal to 5, or q is equal to root 5. That is our answer. So option number D for us. Let us move on to the next. This is the fourth question, right? The fourth question is a problem from numbers, and because it is the fourth question, carries 1 mark. It's a problem from modern mathematics topic, numbers. If the sum of the first 20 consecutive odd numbers is divided by 20 square, what is the result? Now see, the first odd number is 1. 1 can be said to be, 1 square is 1. The second odd number is, first concept, say suppose I add these two. See, that is equal to 4, which is equal to 2 square. Just hold on. Okay. Now, if I add the next consecutive odd number, C is equal to 9, which is 3 square. If I add the next one, see, 1 plus 3 plus 5 is 9, 9 plus 7 is 16, which is 4 square, and so on. So what are we seeing? The summation of consecutive odd numbers creates a perfect square. How do we know which perfect square will it create? See, that number of terms will be equal to n, whose square it is. Okay, so if you are adding the first 20 consecutive odd numbers, then the summation of that must be equal to 20 square. And it is said that you are dividing 20 square by 20 square. The result is 1. So the answer is the first one. Okay, option number A. These are extreme shortcuts. Let us move on to the next. This is question number 5, carries 1 mark, and as can be seen is a problem on ratio and proportion. So comes from the background of arithmetic, ratio and proportion, and carries 1 mark. The ratio of the number of girls to boys in class 8 is the same as the ratio of the number of boys to girls in class 9. The total number of students in class 8 and 9 is 450 and 360 respectively. If the number of girls in these two classes are the same, then the number of girls in each class is how much? Okay, since the number of girls are the same, let us suppose that the number of girls is equal to x. So in class 8, total students is 450. Girls is x. So boys will be 450 minus x. In class 9, girls is also x. Total is 360. So boys will be 360 minus x. So it has been said that the ratio of girls to boys in class 8, that is x by 450 minus x, is equal to the ratio of boys to girls in 9. So 360 minus x by x. So this is the equation. So let us check what happens. X square becomes equal to 450 into 360. Don't waste time in multiplying this. Minus 360x minus 450x plus x square. X square cancels off. So 360 and 450 both go that side, and they become 810. So 810x is equal to 450 into 360. So let us cancel a 0, 0. Let us cancel by 9. This becomes 9, and let us cancel this by 9. This becomes 50. So x is equal to 200. Hence, this is our answer. Option number B, 200. Hope it is clear. Let us move on to the next. This is question number 6, carries 2 marks. Again, as per the standard pattern in 2024, this comes from verbal ability, checking out your grammatical skills. In the given text, the blanks are numbered 1 to 4. Select the best match for all the blanks. Yoko Rui stands dash as an author for standing dash as an honorary fellow. After she stood dash her writings that stand dash the freedom of speech. If you know your grammar, this is simple. Yoko Rai stands out means was exemplary as an author for standing down means step down from the post as an honorary fellow after she stood by her writings. Stood by her writings means supported her own writings. She stood by that her writings that stand for the freedom of speech. This is simple. So it would be out, down, by, for. Out, down, by, for. Out, down, up. No, this is in, so that won't be there. Down, no, out, down. So not, this is not. Down, out, no, out. Okay, out, this is it. Out, down, by, for. Option number D. Hope this is clear. Let's move on. This is question number 8 from mensuration, geometry mensuration, and carries 2 marks. 7 identical cylindrical chalk sticks. We all know how chalk sticks look like. Assume they are cylindrical. Are fitted tightly in a cylindrical container. As you can see here, the cross-sectional view is given. The figure below shows the arrangement of the chalk sticks inside the cylinder. The length of the container is equal to the length of the chalk sticks. The ratio of the occupied space to the empty space of the container is how much? Okay, chalk. Let the radius be r and length be say h. Okay, let the radius be r and the length be h. So if you see volume of one chalk would be equal to pi r square into each. You all know that. There are how many? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no, it's given 7 cylinders. So 7 is given. So volume of 7 chalks must be 7 pi r square each. So that is. Now let us consider the cylinder, the big ones. See, the radius of the cylinder is this. The radius of the cylinder is this. So this contains one R, another R, and a third R. So the radius of the cylinder is 3r, and length is the length of the chalk, that is h. So the volume is pi 3r whole square h, that is 9 pi r square h. So the volume of the empty places, these are the empty places. See, ratio of the occupied place to the empty space. So volume of empty space is 9 pi r square h minus 7 pi r square h, that is 2 pi r square h. So the ratio of the occupied, this is the occupied part, to that of the empty part is this, is 7 pi r square h divided by 2 pi r square h. So is 7 by 2. Option number B. Okay. Hope we have understood. Let's move on. This is question number 8. This is from data interpretation. And as you can see, what is in front of you is a line graph. The plot below shows the relationship between the mortality risk of cardiovascular disease. See, mortality risk of cardiovascular disease and the number of steps a person walks per day. Okay. Based on this data, which one of the following options is true? See, steps per day 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, and mortality risk 0, 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8, and 1. So the first option, the risk reduction on increasing the steps per day from 0 to 10,000. The risk reduction from increasing the steps per day from 0 to 10,000. So 0 to 10,000. So it is 0.2, 1 minus 0.2. So this is 1 minus 0.2, that is 0.8. And the risk reduction on increasing the steps from 10,000 to 2,000, 10,000 to 2,000 is very paltry, as you can see, is somewhat around 0.2, approximately 0.2. But it is said that this is less than this. So obviously this is the wrong one. Hope we understood. Let us rub that writing out so that it doesn't create a problem for the later. So we know that this is wrong. Now let's go on to the next option. The risk reduction on increasing the steps from 0 to 5,000. 0 to 5,000. So it will be approximately somewhere around this 0.5 to 1. So it's approximately 0.5. Even less than 0.5. It's just a little less than 0.5. Okay. In fact, it's actually a little more than 0.5, not less than. I made the wrong approach. That was wrong. It's slightly more than 0.5. Slightly more than 0.5. Because 0.5 would be here, while this is a bit on the lower side, so slightly more than 0.5. Is less than the risk of reduction in increases of 15,000 to 20,000. 15,000 to 20,000, I can see it's much, much less. It's just by this amount. So once again, I can say very less. So I can say this is wrong because 0.5 is much larger than this. See, this is the distance, whereas here the distance is this much. So obviously that's wrong. So let us rub that off so that we don't have any problems. For any 5,000 increment in steps per day, for any 5,000, so this gap, this gap, this gap, and this gap, the largest risk reduction occurs on going from 0 to 5,000. Clearly, this is the correct one. See, for the first 5,000, this is the reduction. For the next 5,000, this is the reduction. This is the reduction. Next 5,000, the reduction is only this much. And after that, there is it. So obviously, this is the right one. Now, number C. We don't have to look at number D once we have found this out. Let us move on. Ah, this is question number 9, carries 2 marks and is from puzzles. Just visual puzzle. 5 cubes of identical size and another small cube. These are the 5 cubes of identical size, and this is the small cube, are assembled as shown in figure A. If viewed from direction X is from the top, it looks like this. It appears as figure B. If viewed from direction Y, the planar image of the assembly will appear as Y is this part. So clearly it will appear as this. It's very easy. Option A is the answer. I hope I don't need to explain this. It's very apparent. Let us move on to the last question. Question number 10 carries 2 marks, and this is from basic mensuration. Visualize a cube that is held with one of the 4 body diagonals. Okay, what is a body diagonal? Body diagonal is the actual diagonal of a cube. I mean, if this is a cube, then the diagonal is from this corner to this corner. There are 4 body diagonals. One will be from this corner to this corner. Another will be from this corner. Sorry, from this corner to this corner. Another will be from this corner to this corner. And that makes 3. And the third one will be from this corner to this corner. All of them are equal in a cube. So those are known as the body diagonals, the principal diagonals. That's also the name given. So the body diagonal is aligned to the vertical axis. So this is the vertical axis, and the body diagonal is somewhat like this. So very difficult to draw a cube with the body diagonal like that. But then, yes, one can draw one. See, somewhat like this. You have to use your imagination a bit. Not a very, it was a very inaccurate one. But then somewhat it will look like this. See, I hope you understand. This is one body diagonal. For the sake of this, let the body diagonal name be PQ. This is the body diagonal PQ. And let us suppose this is P, let us give some names P, R, S, T. And let us give some names there, say Q, M, and whatever. Let us not name the behinds. So I hope you understand. R is this point, T is this point, S is this point. No, R is not this point. I made a mistake. R is not this point. Okay, wait. Let us do this. Let us do this. Actually, by this deletion, actually things became easier. Just have a little bit of patience. Sort of. Let us make it like this. Let us not draw the behind wala picture. So this is R. This is R. And the body diagonal would be somewhat like this, connecting this point P and this point Q. So they are said rotate the cube about this axis such that its view remains unchanged. So that means, see, this RQ is here. Rotate the cube such that instead of RQ, now QM comes. Suppose you are rotating in the anti-clockwise direction. So instead of RQ, QM comes here. Instead of RQ, now there is, oh, this is what? Q, and this is also Q. Okay, so I'll have to change this. Let us name this as N. So you see, this is RQ is here. Instead of that, NM comes here. TS vanishes. Instead of TS, now RQ will be there. So what happens is something else comes in, starting with a different thing. What is there on behind that? I haven't marked that. But this will now become N, this will become M, and this will become R, and this will become Q. So for that, how much angle is needed to move? Always remember, for this one shift, 120 degree is needed to move. This is a very basic theory. So this, for this shift, for this to come up here and this to go up to here, a 120 degree movement is possible. A 90 plus a 30 degree movement, that is 120 degree movement is impossible. So this is a sort of a theoretical question. Once again, a theoretical question has been asked. So that is it. So that puts an end to our discussion. See, we have finished. I hope you enjoyed the whole thing. Let us put an end. Let us put an end to this. Let us close this chapter. Thank you, everybody. Have a nice evening, all of you.